Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of a Fullstack Task Manager application. Okay, so if you remember, this is where we left in our last episode. Okay, so we have created our login page. So now we'll go and deal with the sidebar and the nav bar. Okay, so before then, let us set up our Redux. Okay, let us set up our Redux first. Then we'll continue. Okay, great. So in the Redux here, just create a folder named as store.js. Okay, store.js, and in the store.js, just import create config from at redux.js redux. Good. So what are we importing? We're importing configure store. Okay, configure store, and we will import other slices as well. So we will need slices such as let me import it before I forget, like the alt slice, and it will be coming from ./slices. So we'll create slices folder, and in it we'll have the alt slice. Okay, we'll also import API slice. Good, and it will also be coming from ./slices/API slice. Okay, great. Now let us create our store. So we say const store should be equal to, then we use the configure store, right? Okay, parentheses, then we'll open an object. We'll put our reducer. Okay, so in the reducer we'll have the alt, and it will be equal to the alt alt reducer. Okay, so now let's make this as alt reducer so that we'll know. Okay, alt reducer, and we'll also create a base API slice. So with that one, what we have to do is we just have to put it here. So put square brackets and say API slice, right? API slice dot reduces. So we're just going to put the reducer path. So reducer path. Okay, then it will be equal to the API slice dot reducer. Okay, so if you want to learn more of all these things, you can just go to Redux Toolkit website, right? Okay, so put comma here, and let us put a middleware. So middleware we'll use the get default okay, get default. Great. Middleware. Great. Then we'll just return the get default middleware here. Dot concat, and inside it we'll pass the API slice dot middleware. Okay, so in the middleware we are just getting this and we're calling it as a function, then accessing the concat, right? Concat, then we pass in the API dot middleware, API slice dot middleware. Okay, great. So put comma here, and we can also put DevTools to true. Okay, so we can use the DevTools. Okay, so now let us create the slices. So slices, and inside it we'll have the alt slice.js. In the alt slice.js, we want to import also from Redux Toolkit. What are we importing? We're going to import create slice. Okay, great. So now we want to create initial state. So in the initial state, we'll have user, and we'll always check from our local storage whether we have the user. So get user, right? Let's make it user info, right? Let's first check if it exists. If it exists, then we'll pass it JSON.pass user info. Else if it doesn't, then we pass now. Oh, something is wrong. Pass this to this, and here this to this. Good. Else now. Okay, so if this exists, we'll pass this local storage. Oh, okay, single quote. Okay, good. Let's pass now. So if it exists, we'll pass the user info. If it doesn't, then we'll leave it as now. Okay, great. Let us also get another one. It is sidebar open, and we'll set it to false. Okay, great. So now our initial state is ready. So now let us create the slice. So cons alt slice is equal to, then we use the create slice. Okay, parentheses, and we'll open an object, and the name will be alt. Okay, then we'll pass the initial state. Now because the name and the object we are passing is the same, that's why we are not doing this here, right? They are the same, so we can omit one and just call it like this. Okay, and now we'll bring our reducers. Great. Okay, so now in here, the reducers, what we're going to do is we're going to get set credentials. Great. Okay, so we'll have a function that will set the credentials, and we'll get the state and the action. And the action is what will contain the payload. Okay, when we get there, you understand. Okay, so here, this is the action will contain the payload. The user data that we'll send will be inside the payload. Okay, great. So we'll set the state, and in the state we have the user, right? Then we just pass the action.payload that is coming to the user. Also, we want to set our local storage. So local storage or set item. The key will be user info. Then we'll pass the object that is coming. Okay, so let's change it to action.payload. Okay, one more. Great. So this is one reducer. Okay, now let us also get another one for logout. Now in this project we'll be using cookies. Okay, great. So we want a function to also log out. Okay, so in a logout, we say user should be equal to now, and we also want to clear the local storage, right? Great. Okay, so we set the user to now, and the local storage also will remove it. Okay, let us also get one function that sets open sidebar. Okay, great. So here we'll just say state dot is sidebar open, right? It should be equal to action dot payload. Okay, so now we have these three reducers. We need to export them, right? Okay, so just come down here and say export, right? Const. So we need to export them. So what are we exporting? Okay, so here we need to export set credentials, logout, and set open sidebar, right? Okay, export equal to alt slice dot actions. Okay, great. So we are exporting them like this, and in and down here we just say export default alt slice dot reducer. Great. So if we go to the store and let's click on this, if it's great. So now we have it. Okay, so now let us create the API slice also. Okay, so inside here I will just say API slice.js. Okay, so in here we'll also import two things from at Redux toolkit. Now in here we're going to use queries, so we'll just say, oh my god, great, slash query, right, slash react. Great. So we're importing from queries and React. What are we importing? We are importing create API and fetch base query. Great. And fetch base query. Now let me create API URI, or URI RI, which will be equal to HTTP localhost 88,000. Now our app will run on localhost 88,000/API. Okay, that's where our backend will run. Okay, so that's why I'm putting it here. Okay, great. So now let's say const base query. Then we use the fetch query and we'll pass okay, so we'll pass the base URL as the one we just created here, right? We'll pass this. I think something is missing. Okay, this should be cons. Great. Okay, great. So now let us export const API slice. API slice equal to create API. Great. Parenthesis and object. Then we'll put the base query, right? Okay, so the base query, this that we created up here. We also have tags, tag types. Okay, tag types, and it can be an object. For now, we'll not put anything, and we'll also put an endpoint. And points. Great. And in that we'll get builder. Great builder. Then we'll just return an end. Okay, so we get the endpoints. The endpoint, we get builder, and we just return this. So all of these things are coming from the documentation, so you can refer. Now this should be small. Great. It should be create API, not capital. Great. Okay. And if we go here and click on this, I hope, okay, great, it opens, so meaning we're getting somewhere. Okay. Okay, so when we connect to our backend, we'll create our APIs. So I can put a folder here, so API. Okay, so we'll create our APIs inside this folder. Okay, so now let us go and connect it to our app. So we'll go to the main, and in the main here, we will have to import provider, right? We import provider, so say import provider from React Redux. Okay, then we will wrap our app inside the provider. Okay, so I'll just say provider. Great. And just push the app, everything inside. And the provider normally will take store, right? Store. Great. And the store will be the store that we created. Okay, so how do we import it? Let's import store from /redux/store. Okay, great. And let's go see if it's still working. I guess we have an error. Okay, so we have an error on default main line 7. First, okay, I guess we did not export our store. So okay, great. So let's say export default store. Great. Let's reload and see. Okay, so the next one is reference W is not defined. API slice 12. API slice 12 reference W 12. Oh, okay, so I have extra W here. Okay, let's see. Reducer is a required argument. Okay, so let's go to our store. Okay, so here. Okay, so this should be reducer, not reduce. Reducer. Okay. Okay, great. I think it's working now. Okay. Great. So now if we go to our login, where we have a login, we're saying that yes, we need to get the user. So here we'll destructure the user. Right, we'll destructure the user, and we'll use selector. Great, from React Redux. We'll access the state, and in the state we'll have the state.alt. If you remember, we gave the name alt to our state. And let us try to console log our user and see. Okay, let us go to the console. Okay, so the user is now. Okay, okay, so the user is now me. We don't have any user now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is perhaps I'm going to copy this user and try to see if I can copy this user from here. Local storage. Yeah. Let me try to copy it and see if I can go set it here. Okay, here. So the key is user info. Okay, I am just trying to set it so we can go to. Okay, great. So now if I come here and I reload, okay, so now you see that we have the user being logged here, right? Okay, great. And then it's not rendering, so there's no path as slash dashboard. Okay, let's go and fix that. Okay, so now because we said that if the user exists, we should be redirected to dashboard, right? Okay, great. So let's go here and check dashboard. Bring it here and see dashboard. I'm getting an error that no route matched slash dashboard. Okay. Okay, so come here. We can close this and close this and close this. Also close this. Okay. Okay, so here we see that path. Let me mark this as the index. So / we move to dashboard. Navigate to dashboard. And the path is dashboard and this element. Oh, okay, so I have found it, and I had this sign here, so just make sure you remove it. And because we duplicated, they are all here, here, and here. Okay. Okay, so here, remove from here, and okay. Okay, so also let's get our user here. So I guess I can just copy this. Okay, just copy this and bring it here. And just import. Okay. And let's check if it fixed the issue. Okay, so we're getting something. Outlet is not defined. Outlet. I think we import outlet. Okay. Okay. Let's go see. Okay, so now we have this, and if you can see, you see that our sidebar will go here, and the rest of the content will go here, right? So now, so let us work on this sidebar here. Okay, great. So I will quickly, yes, we'll go to sidebar, uncomment it, right? Great. And inside our components, we'll create sidebar.jsx and say array of CE. Great. And let me close this, go here and import it. Okay, great. So I'll quickly bring the links, right? Good. So the sidebar on top here, I'll bring the links. So the links are the label and the where it goes, the link, right, with icons. So I'll also bring the icons. If you remember, we are using React icons, right? Good. If you have any icon that you want to use, you can use them. And let's make sure we have installed React icons. So React icons, okay, it's here. Great. Okay, so I have this. I also bring other icons, and this one also. Great. Okay. Okay. So if you want to type, you can, I mean, look on this and you can look on this and type it, right? Okay, so this you can pause it and type it. I also leave this in a GitHub gist so that you can copy and paste it. Okay, so we also need to get the user here. So the user, which is equal to use selector, right? And in it we get the state, and in the state we get the auth, which contains the user. Okay, great. We'll also need dispatch here so that when the user logs in, use dispatch, we can dispatch an action. Okay. We'll also need the location. So we'll get use location from React DOM, right? Use location. Great. Now I want to get the location so that when you click on a particular link, we'll highlight that. We'll set the active to true, right? So we'll say const path should be equal to location dot path name, right? And we want to split the path name. We want to split the path name and split it by the // and we'll take the one with index 1. Okay, great. Okay, we also want to get the sidebar link, right? So sidebar links should be equal to user dot is admin. So first want to check if the user is an admin, right? Okay, before we get a sidebar link. Now we need to hide some of the links, for instance, team members or users. Okay, so the normal user should not be able to see them nor see trash items. It is only for admin. So we want to check if the user is admin. If the user is admin is true, then we'll say links data. Else, the same link data, right? We want to slice it. Dot slice from 0 to 5. Okay, so we want to slice it from 0 to 5 to this side, then we'll leave this part. Okay, so you only see all if you are the admin. Okay, great. Now let us get a function that will close the okay, yeah, let's just close sidebar. That's on mobile menu. We need a function that will close the sidebar. Okay, great. So in that, we'll use the dispatch action, right? And we'll dispatch an action that is the set open sidebar. Great. And we'll pass false. Okay. And this is in our reducers here. Let's go here, and inside, I think it's here. This, okay, it's here. So I'm just going to copy it and bring it here. Good. And make sure it's imported. Great. Okay, it's here. Great. We'll dispatch it and pass a false to it. Okay, so now let us go to our sidebar. Okay. Let's get some classes for this. So classes, we want width of full, height of also full. It should be flex and flex column, right? Gap of 6 and pattern of 5. Okay, so inside it, we're going to have h1. That's h1. Okay. Okay, let's give classes. h1, it should be flex. Gap 1. The items center. Great. Now inside it, we'll have a paragraph tag that will host our image. So I'll just copy the image and bring, the icon. Oh, not this. Okay, good. So I just copy, and the icon is already imported at the top. Okay, So let me give classes to this. Okay, so the BG should be blue-600 and pattern of 2 and rounded full. Okay, great. And beneath it we'll have a span tag, span, that will say task me. Okay, so like give me a task, give me task. Okay, so task me, and the test of 2XL, font bold, great, and test dash black, test dash black. Okay, great. So let's check if we're making progress. Okay, great. So it's coming up fine here. Great. Okay. Okay, so now beneath the H1, we'll have another div. Okay. Now this will be flex1, right? Flex column, gap y of 5, and py of also 8. Gap y, great. So inside here we'll loop over the link, no, the sidebar links, great, dot map. Okay, dot map, and we'll get each link, right? Okay, we'll get each link, and we will immediately return nav link. Okay, let's make it like nav link. Great. Now we'll pass element, which will be the link, right? Great. Link, and we'll also pass key, which will be the link key, which will be links link. Good. Let's make it singular. Link, which will be link dot label. Okay, and let's close it. So now let us come up here, above here, and create that. So it's a const nav link. Okay, and if you remember, we are accepting elements el, right? Great. So now let us return. So return a link from router DOM. Make sure it's imported. Okay. So the 2 will go to el.link, right? Great. And on click, when we click it, because on mobile devices, when we click it, we also want to close the sidebar. Close sidebar. Great. We also want to close the sidebar. You understand? Okay, great. Also, let us give classes. So in here, we'll use the CLXX. Make sure it's imported. In here, good. So we have classes here, and we'll have other ones. Okay. So first, let us deal with this part. So it's going to be full width, right? On LG, width will be 3/4. Width dash 3/4. Great. Flex gap of 2, px3, ps3, and py2. Okay, rounded full. Great. Items center. Okay. Test dash gray dash 800. Okay. Test base. Okay, let me toggle it. Base. Okay, base. and on hover, we want BG to be this color. Let me copy and bring it. Okay, I'll just copy and bring it here. Okay, so on hover. Okay, so now after this classes, what we're going to do is let us check the path. If path is equal to el.link, right, dot split. Now the reason we're splitting it is that sometimes we can attach query to it, right? So if we attach query to it, we need to split it. Okay. And we also want to split it from the local host, from the main domain, right? So element dot el dot split by /. Then we take the first index. Great. If that one is the first index is equal to path, then we're going to give a classes of bg blue dash 700, right? Then we give test of white. If not so, then it should be the same. Okay, great. So inside, now we'll have to render the el.icon. Great. And in a span tag, we'll also put el.label. Great. Okay, let's give some class to this. Okay, so hover, the test should be this color. I'm just going to bring the color. Okay, great job. Okay, so now we have our Nav Links. So let's go and check. So now we have it here. Okay, great. Okay, so if I go here, this one is selected. And because we are fetching the location, whenever if we even reload it, it will still be highlighted because we are still here, right? But I guess something is wrong here on selected nav link. Okay. Something seems to be wrong, and I don't know why. Okay, because when we select it, the text ought to be white, but it is not showing as white, right? The background is working, but the text is not working. Okay, so let me take off this class and see. Maybe it's the one affecting it. Okay, so the background is working, but the text is not working. Okay, so I think the red is working. So why is the white not working? Text dash white. Okay, let's use neutral dash 100 and see. Okay, I don't know why white is not working, but we manage around it with neutral. Okay, if white works for you, then that's really fine. Okay, great. So if you check here, you can see that there is also another thing here, right? Great. So here we'll just it's almost the same thing, so I'll just copy and bring it to avoid time wasting. Okay, so below the Nav Links, right? I'm going to put this. So it's a div, and we have a button in with full gap flex gap to px, like the same we gave for our Nav Links. Okay, item center, and the text should be Excel, and we have this icon, settings icon in, right? Let me take out this. It's not important. Great. And we are saying settings. Okay. Okay. So great. So we have it here. Okay, so now let us spin off the navbar, quick. Okay. Okay, navbar. So we are done with the sidebar. Let's go to the navbar. Okay, so in here I will just uncomment this. Take the name, go here and say navbar.gss rafce read, go back and import it. Great. And it's going to be pretty simple. Okay, so in the navbar here, I'll bring the icon. We'll use icon. Okay, so this icon, the search icon. Okay. Here also we'll get the user. So user equal to use selector state, then state.auth. Okay. We'll also need dispatch, which is equal to use dispatch. Great. Good. Dispatch equal to use dispatch. Okay. Okay. So if you check, you can see that we have the search bar here and this side, right? Okay. So let me first give classes to the outer div. So class name, it should be flex, justify between, to put it to left and right, items to center, bg of white, px4, pattern x4, py3 from 2 excel py of also 4. Great. Want it to be sticky, and I'm going to give it a z index of 10, top of 0. Okay, break it. Great. Okay, so inside it we have one div, and this div we have a class. Great. Class, and the class will be flex and gap4. Okay, so inside it we have a button. So I'll just bring a button, and the button will have this icon here. Great. Okay, so classes, test of 2 excel, right? Test of gray dash 500. It should normally be block, right? On MD it should be hidden. Okay, so this will use it to toggle the nav sidebar on mobile screen, right? So on bigger screens it should be hidden. Okay, so then let us use the onClick event here, and we'll just dispatch the action, which is our set open sidebar, and we'll pass through to it, right? Okay, great. Okay. Great. Then let us also have the search bar. Okay, so we need this div, beneath the button. Okay, great. Let us have one div. Okay, so width of 64, right? On 2XL, width of 400 pixels. 400 pixels. I flex item center, py2 and px of 3, gap of 2, rounded of full, great. bg of this color, let me copy and bring it. Okay, so bg of this color, great. So inside we'll have our icon, the search icon. I'll just copy and bring it, given a class of the color should be gray and the size should be this, right? So inside it we'll have this input. Okay, the type will be set test. I'm going to put a placeholder, and the placeholder will be just search. Okay, great. And let's give classes. Okay, so flex one to take majority of the container, outline to none, bg of transparent, great. And placeholder test, the test should be test of gray dash 500. Then the test itself should also be gray of 800. Okay, let's go and see. Okay, great, we're getting somewhere. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Great job. Okay, so now this side of the left side is done. Let us move to the right side with a div. Classes, great. Flex gap to item center, and inside we're gonna have two things. Great. So we'll have the notification panel and we'll have the user avatar. So first, let's handle the user avatar first. Okay. Okay, so in here, let's go here and user avatar.jsx, refce, and come here and import it. Great. Okay, so here we'll use things from React, Headless UI. So I'll just copy some of the things and bring it here. So we'll use menu. Okay, so we'll use menu transition fragment from React and use state, right? As well as icons, right? Icons. Okay, nothing too complicated. Okay. So I'll just bring these declaratives. Okay, so now we have opened and set open, which is we're using the use state, right? And we set it to false. We also have open password, and also close set open password, also use state. And we taking our user from our state. And this function is not ready yet, so I'll just remove it. Great. Also dispatch and also navigate. Okay, great. So let us get our logout function. So we say log out handler. Great. And we just print logged out, logout. Okay. Okay, so in here now we have a div, and this div will have our menu from Headless UI. Okay, and it will act as a div, right? Great. So you can read from the documentation there. This, okay. Okay, so let's give classes. Class name, great. It should be relative. Okay, inline inline block, inline block. Okay, great. And test left, great. Okay, so Headless UI works well with Tailwind CSS. Okay, great. So inside this we'll have an icon. So I'm going to bring my icon. Okay, so this is the icon. Okay, so the icon, I mean a button, sorry, I mean to say button. Okay, so I have menu.button, right? And I mean the classes is width 10, height 10. On 2XL, it should be 12, 12, and item should be center, justified to also center. The button should be rounded and a BG of blue. Okay. Now inside it, we will just render the username, right? So in a span tag with text being white and font being semi-bold, we'll get the initials of the username, right? Okay, so I'll just go bring my function. Now inside the utils, I'll create an index.js file. So utils index.js file, and I'll just paste it. Okay, so the function gets the full name. When it gets the full name, we split it by the spaces, right? So first name, then the space, right? So we split it by the space into an array. And when we get the array, we just want to take the first and the second. Assuming you have 3 names, we only take the first 2, right? Okay, so we take the first 2 and we map over it and get the initials or the first index, I mean the first letters of each name, and we join it together and return it, right? I hope you understand the real. You understand what I mean here. This is a simple function. So in here, great. So we'll just pass the user full name and get the initials of the username. Okay, so this will give us the username. Okay, so beneath this button, we're going to have the transition. And if you go to Headless UI, a lot of the component, make sure React is selected. Make sure React is selected. A lot of the time they use transitions, right? Transition. Okay, menu. I think this. Okay, so they use transition like this. So what I'm going to bring is the same thing, so no need to waste much time. Okay, so I'll just copy transition like this, bring it here, close it, great. So the transition, and it will act as a fragment, and it has enter, animations, and enter from, enter to, and leave from, and leave to, right? Okay, great. So inside it, we're going to have our menu again. Okay, so say menu dot items, right? So we're going to have items, great. Great. Okay, so let's get some classes. Okay, great. So we want it to be absolute, because the parent is relative, right? Right to 0. Great. Margin top of 2 and width of 52 or 56. Great, 56. Now origin dash top dash right. Okay, so this will handles the positioning. Okay, divide gray dash 100. Rounded dash MD. Great. BG of white. Shadow of to Excel. To Excel, great. To Excel, and we want to have a ring of 1, ring dash black. Well, black, and we want to give a little bit of opacity. So we'll say 5, right, to handle the opacity, and we'll say on focus we want outline to be none. Okay, great. Okay, so let's have a div inside, and this div will have a class of p-4. That's all. So now let us have a menu.item. Okay, so now this is menu.item and not items, right? Okay, great. So in here, we need to get whether it is active or not. So curly braces, parenthesis, and curly braces again, and we get active, right? Active. And behind the parenthesis, just come and open another parenthesis, and we will return a pattern. Okay, so when you click on the button, right, on click, we're going to set open to true. Great. Great. Okay, set to true, and inside it we'll have an icon and a text, and we have this icon already imported with these few classes, right? Okay, so let's focus on the classes for this. So class name should be test gray -700, right? Great. We're gonna say group flex with full item center rounded MD and px2 py of also 2 and text base. Great. Okay, great. So now let's go and see. So if I click on it, now you can see we have 1, and now we have another one to change the password, and another one to let's see. Okay. Okay, so we have 1 to great. This and log out. Okay, so with that one, I'll just copy and paste because it is the same thing. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so we need this menu, right? Great. I'll bring the other 2. Okay, so this are they. So the first one will also check active and is in button, and this time we'll set the open password to true, right? Because we want to change our password. Okay, we'll set that stage to true, and we also have a few classes like the one above, and we also have the icon and change password. Great. And we have another one for also log out, the same thing. So let us go and check. Okay, so now we have this 3. This one is grayed out. I don't know why. Let us check. Okay. Change password. Test 700. I guess it's the same as the one above. So remove this. Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so now that is our nav bar, right? And if we check, okay, so if we check from here, you can see that this is fully responsive. Great. So you see, if we click here, the bar shows and it goes, right? So how do we fix that here? Okay, great. So how do we fix that here? Okay, so let us go and make it mobile responsive. Then we can, meet in the next episode. This here. Okay, go. Oh, we left with this. Okay, let's fix our mobile navigation first, and we'll come there. Okay. Okay, so now the mobile navigation will only be needed here. So let us create it here. So we'll say cons, and the name is what? Mobile navigation or mobile sidebar. Great. Okay. So in that also, the few things that we have from up there, we can also bring it. So we also getting that is open from our state. So let's make sure this is imported, right? Okay. And we creating the ref here, and we're also getting a dispatch. Okay, initializing the dispatch here, and we're creating the action. So let's make sure this is imported. Oh my bad. Let's make sure it's imported. Okay, from our slides. Okay. So as let us return. Okay, so inside this, I'll also copy and bring the transition, and make sure the transition is imported from Headless UI. Great. Okay, I think now we can uncomment this, right? Then we toggle this. Okay. So transition, it's here. Okay, great. Okay, so the transition, as usual, it acts as fragments. So let's make sure fragment is also imported from React. And there are these properties of animation. Okay. So inside here, okay, we'll also get the ref. And return a div. Great. Now this div, take the ref of node, then we're going to say mobile menu ref. Great. Dot current should be equal to the node. Okay. Now let's give classes. Okay. Medium, it should be hidden. So on medium screen, it should be hidden. Else full width, right? Height also of full. BG of black / one opacity, so 40. One transition. No, transition. Okay, so transition. Then transition dash all. Okay, great. Then duration of let's put 700, and also transform. Okay, great. I think we can use Okay. Okay, so let's import this. Okay. Okay, so now let's check to see if is sidebar open is true, right? If it's true, then we're gonna say translate -x -0, right? Else translate x -full. Okay, great. So if it's open, want to translate to be 0, and if it's not, it should be full. Okay, so on click, what are we going to do? We're going to call the close sidebar. Great. Something is missing. Okay, let me undo it and see. Okay. Okay, great. So it should be here on click. Great. So close sidebar. Great. Good. Great. So now inside it, we're gonna have a div, class name, bg white, width of 3 or 4, height of full. Then we have another div inside it, which has a width of full, flex, justify end, px of 5, and pt of 5. Okay. And we're gonna have a button inside this div. So I'll just bring the button. Okay, so we have a button that on click, it closes the sidebar with flex, justify end, and items end also. And we have this icon in it. So okay, so beneath the button, the div, okay, let's have another div. Okay, and it's gonna be margin top -10, right? And inside this, we're gonna render our sidebar again, sidebar, and that's it. Okay. Okay, so let's go check and see if it works. I guess we have a couple of errors to handle. Okay, so let's figure out. So useRef is not defined. So we have a useRef here, which is not imported. Okay, I want to believe it's working now. Okay, we don't have error. So if I click on this, great, we are greeted with error. Okay, let me quickly go to React icons. Let me get a close icon and see, since this one is not working. Okay, let me import this. Okay, so I'll put this one here, copy this. Okay. Okay, just bring it here, paste it, and let's see. Okay, and let's go and check and see if it's working. Okay, so if I click here, okay, so now you can see that we have this sidebar, and let's compare it and see. This takes full. We have space here, and it doesn't take much of the screen, and we click here, it goes away. Okay, so what might be the issue? Let's find out. Okay. Okay, so here should be 3/4. Let's go and see. So if I click here, okay, so now it takes more, and here there's also space up there. Let me remove this and see. Meaning it's either this is not working, and make it 20 and see. Also it goes up. Okay, so meaning the 10 is okay, but something is either wrong somewhere. Okay. Okay, so I will find out what the issue is, but for now let's continue. I guess we can continue, right? Okay, great. So we have this thing working here. We'll find out later and let you know. Okay, so what again is left? I guess this notification. Okay, great. let's go to it quickly. Okay, so here we'll just create the notification. So sidebar, go here. Okay, so we have this here. So I'll create a file, notification.jsx, refce. Okay, come and import it. Okay, so here we'll also be needing things from icons and also things from Headless. So I'll just copy them, right, and bring them here. Okay, so we have popover transition, we have moment, we have fragment, use state, and icons. Okay, great, and also link from here. Okay, so I'll bring my object, the object I created. So now I have, when the message is an alert, I have this icon, right, with these classes, and when it's also a message, I have this icon for it. Okay, so I'll bring the state, the variables created. Okay, so we are having open and set open, as well as selected and set selected, and we're also getting data which is not ready for now, so I guess I can comment that, and also mark as read. All of these are not ready. Okay, okay, I will also have call to action. So if you check, you see that there's a call to action, either cancel or mark or as read, right? Great. So I will bring that one also here, right? Great. And this will great, handle read. So I'll just create the function here as read handler and let it be empty for now. Great. So here what we're going to do is I'll bring a pop over, right? Okay, all of these things are coming from the documentation too. I mean of Headless UI. Okay. Okay, so here let's go over it. Okay, so we have the pop over dot bottom, right? Dot bottom. We're giving it inline flex, item center, and also outline of none. And we have a div in. Let me remove this. Great. And the div is having width 8, height 8, flex, item center, justify center, text gray 800, and also it should be relative. And we have an icon in here, okay, which I want to believe is up there, and the size should be 2XL. Okay, now we want to check our data. Okay. Let me try and copy my data and bring it. Let me see. Let me see if I can get data here. Okay, here. Object. This. Okay, yeah, I think it's this one. So let's see if I can copy the object. And let's see if I can say class data should be equal to this. Okay, so let me remove one. Okay, so okay, don't worry about the structure for now. Okay, so great. So in here, so we're going to check that if the data.length is greater than 0, means that we have messages or notifications. If not, then we need not to show it at all. So if it is, then we show this span with the length of the messages, right? And the background should be red, and the text itself should be white. Okay, so perhaps we can go back and see. I guess we have error. Okay, so what is the error? The error is notification panel is not defined. Okay, notification panel. Okay, I guess. Okay, let's see. Okay, great. So now we have two messages here, right? So when we click on this, then we show the drop down. Okay. So let me bring the panel, which is inside the transition. Okay. So beneath the bottom, right? here. I'll bring the transition and the panel. Okay, so let's go over it. So as usual, the same transition as we have, nothing new. Okay, so we have a pop over panel, and we're giving class that it should be absolute and right of -16, on MD right of -2, Z index of 10, MD MT 5 flex, and the width should be screen. The maximum width should be max, right? If you hover over it, you see it should be max of what content, okay, and a px of 4. Now we also want to destructure the close, right, so that when we click on it, we can close it. And we check if data exists, right? If the data has length, the length is greater than 0, then we render the items, right? Okay, so I will remove this. Okay, so now in this div, we have the width of screen and the max width of MD, flex auto, overflow hidden, right? And rounded of 3XL, BG white text XM, and leading of 6, that's for spacing, right? Shadow LG, ring 1, and ring gray 900. We have this div of pattern 4, right? And we just check and slice the data. Now, it could be that we have more messages, but we only want to show 5 of them, right? So we slice it, so you can adjust it according to your need. Okay, so we slice it and get 5 and map over it. We get each item an index, and we pass the key as the item ID and the index. Okay, great. And with these few classes of group, relative flex, gap of X of 4, rounded LG, pattern 4, on hover, BG should be gray dash gray dash 50. Great. And we couldn't add the dark. We can add dark for down, so I'll remove that. Okay. And inside it, we also have another div to show the icons. And if you remember, I think I brought the icons up here. Great. To show which icon, right? Okay. So whether it is alert icon or message icon, and that will depend on the notification type, right? So if you check our data, let me toggle this. If you check our data, you can see that there is noti type, right? So the noti type could either be a message or alert. Okay. So the icon will get the icon on the basis of the notification type. Okay, so we also have this where we have this function to view. So when we click on view notification, a pop-up will open. For now, let us create an empty function with the name. Okay, my bad. Great. So view handler. Great. So and when we click on it, we want to view it, and we'll pass the item we want to view onto the function. Okay. So we also have this div with few classes, and let me remove the dark. Okay. And we show the notification type. So in a paragraph, we show the notification type, and in a span, we'll use moment to render the date of which it was created. Okay. It was created, and what again? Beneath it, we'll also show the test, right? And we're using line dash clam dash 1. We only want one line. So if you check here, you see that we only have one line. Now the test can be long, that we can have more than one line, but we only want to show one line, right? Good. So you can use these classes as line dash clam dash 1 or dash 2, or show 2 lines, right? So I only want one line, that's why I'm saying dash 1. Okay, great. Okay, so this will great. We'll map over the data and show them. Now we also want to show the call to actions, or the actions, right? So we'll map over the actions that we created up here. Okay, this call to actions, right? We want to map over it and get the various actions, whether it should be read, mark or as read, or cancel. Great. So basically that is what we are doing in here. Great. Okay, so let's check and see. Great. So now see we have it. I think, oh, I think we'll remove my dark something. I couldn't implement all the dark theme for all. That's why I'm taking them off here. Okay, great. So now if we click, right, great job. Okay, so we can click cancel and we can click read all. For now, it is not working. Okay, so now this comes the end of this episode. In the next section, we'll go to our dashboard here, right? We'll begin from here, then go to the other ones. And once we are done with this, the other ones will be pretty simple to do. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to like.